What is going on? My name is Psyche and welcome back to Dead Cells. So today will be a very special episode because today the new DLC Fatal Falls has just been released. And in this video I'm going to do a total of 3 runs, just showcasing the new content and trying to as many of the new items as possible. So before I get started with this video, I post content related to Dead Cells, including guides and 5 BC gameplay runs. If any of that sounds interesting to you, make sure to subscribe to the channel. It takes up no time at all and it really helps me out. And if you ever change your mind in the future, you can always just unsubscribe. So without further ado, let's get started with this video. So this is the first time that I'm entering the Fractured Shrine, and interesting story is that this video would have came out hours earlier if it weren't for the delay on PC, because just this morning when the DLC was supposed to be released, for some reason a lot of players on Steam could not access the new content, including myself, so I had to wait till the devs fixed it, and then I was finally able to access it sometime in the afternoon. Now, interesting story about this DLC is that I actually saw some footage of this yesterday before the DLC was even released. So there was a gameplay video posted by the channel Boomstick Gaming, but for some reason that video was like deleted last night. But the thing is, I've already watched it, so I kind of know the gist of what's going to happen in this biome specifically. So, and the first instinct of me playing a new run on this patch is to kind of test out what attacks can be parried and what attacks cannot. So here I'm just testing out on this giant Titan monster. I'm not sure what it's called. Basically, it only has 2 attacks. One is the stomp attack, which cannot be parried. Believe me, I've tried that. And the second attack is the axe swing, which can be parried, although the timing is a bit weird because the attack is slow. And here, what you're supposed to do is use the cultist outfit, because this is the only way you can access the Undying Shores. However, when you pick up the outfit from a nearby body, by the way, those bodies of cultists are everywhere, you just pick one up and then you can unlock it at the collector. However, what you can do is to do what I just did, and that is detach your head and then possess one of those outfits. In this case, you can go to the Undying Shores without having to restart your run. So in this first run, I'm running the game on 2 BC because I wanted to, test out some things, but also give myself a bit of challenge because, well, I still want to win. So I think 2BC is a perfect place to test out what this DLC has to offer. And right off the bat, I'm noticing that you can actually parry the snake guardians if you time the parry window right. And in a later run, I'm going to also try to parry the traps, which by the way, you are able to do. So just running through the biome with the Rhythm Bazooki, and in a second here, you'll see me kill this Titan without any effort at all. And that just illustrates the power of the Rhythm Bazooki, which, makes sense because I did put it on the S tier in my 2.1 tier list. So it's just kind of wrecking through everything. And I decided to come here with a survival build because I wanted to test out the parrying in particular. I wanted to see which attacks are parryable and which are not. Now, seeing that the Fractured Shrine is an alternative level to the Stealth Village, there is a guaranteed food shop here, and it is not locked behind a 2 boss cell door. So you can access the food shop on this level at any boss cell difficulty. It's worth mentioning that the enemies on this biome also changes depending on which boss cell difficulty you're at. So you'll see in a later run that when you come here at 3 boss cells and above, bombers will start to appear. And here I'm just accessing the Undying Shores while wearing the cultist outfit because that is the only way you can access this biome. However, you just have to do this for the first time you enter it. Once the door is open, you can use whatever outfit you want and the door will be open forever. So just the first time you enter the Undying Shores, you are going to have to wear the cultist's outfit. And here I unlock the Iron Staff, which I tried to test out for a bit. This item is really weird. I have never seen an item like the Iron Staff before, and you'll see it in a second when I enter the new biome. So it looks like there will be slammers here, which I'm not a fan of because slammers are extremely annoying to deal with, and Mushroom Boy isn't exactly helping a lot here. I should mention that in this video, I never found the knife familiar. It's called the Serenade apparently. but I never found it in my 3 runs that we'll be featuring in this video, so I'm not sure where to get that yet. So it looks like the Serpent Monster is also in this biome, and it looks like with the spear attack, you can, once it teleports to the spear, you are able to parry that attack. So the theme of the Undying Shores is you're kind of scaling down this rainy cliff, and the end of the level is at the bottom of the cliff. So this is kind of beneficial because you can always just ground slam your way down to a group of enemies, as there is very rarely any type of scenarios where you have to go up a platform. Also, I should mention that I have unlisted my gameplay trailer analysis video for Fatal Falls because, well, I mean, the DLC is already out, so I don't really see a point of that being on the channel anymore. However, I did put it in a separate playlist, so if you really want to watch it, you can still see it there. And there I just picked up a new blueprint, which I'll be unlocking later, but unfortunately I will not be using in this video because, well, I just don't have that much time and I wanted to see what else the DLC had to offer. So I should mention that the Iron Staff, basically its gimmick is that the first hit that you do with it, it counts as a parry. And if you manage to parry any attack when you are starting your attack with the Iron Staff, then the entire combo that the Iron Staff does will inflict critical hits. So it's a gimmick that I've never seen anything close to it in the game, except for the flashing fans. But the main problem with the Iron Staff is that it cannot deflect projectiles. So it's restricted to melee attacks only. So you can only parry melee attacks with the Iron Staff. So here I just unlocked the Lantern. Just trying it out, I'm noticing that it is a two-handed weapon, which I have never seen, since there is no two-handed brutality weapon in the game yet, so this is a first. And I will definitely be playing around with it later in a separate video, but now, since I'm running survival, it doesn't really fit here. So now I'm just going to reset my mutations because I know the boss is coming up and I don't know what to expect. This is my first time fighting this boss. I'm just trying to take as much precautions as possible, trying to get as much health or defense. And seeing that this is on 2BC, the boss will do a considerable amount of damage. So going through to the mausoleum, and we go on to fight the new boss known as the Scarecrow. So in my gameplay trailer analysis video, I mistakenly thought the boss's name would be the Gardener, but except the Gardener is another character, and that character is the body that we saw that got hanged in the prisoner's quarters. I knew that the Scarecrow would do some kind of melee attacks, and I knew they would be parryable, but as for their other attacks, I have no idea what to expect. And here I was trying to parry the sides, but apparently that is very difficult to do. I'm not even sure if it's possible. And it looks like the Scarecrow spawns a bunch of mushroom boys to help them out. So again, with the jab attack, I'm not sure what you're supposed to do here. I'm just trying to roll away, trying to make the best of it. Again, I have never fought this boss before, so everything you see here is brand new to me. So with the sides, I'm trying my best to parry it, but I'm not even sure if that's possible. But when the Scarecrow does the melee attack, that attack is pretty easy to parry. However, I'm not sure how this will look like if you come here without a shield. Just based on this fight alone, I think you'll have a much easier time with this fight if you bring a shield. So I've watched this footage a bunch of times already, and I still don't know how to dodge that. I thought you could roll through it, but I'm not sure. The timing is a bit weird, I feel. So again, when the parry attack comes out, I think because the boss is reaching a lower health threshold that the attacks come out faster. And there I just land the final hit and the Scarecrow is dead. I pick up the new skill called the Sickles, and I don't have much footage of the Sickles here because I'm trying to get through to the later runs, as I think they offer more interesting gameplay. So here, I'm just gonna skip forward to the Hand of the King fight. What you'll notice that I don't have any heals left, and I'll just try to get as much health as possible for my mutations. But you'll see that I'm not actually doing a very good job here, because I'm also trying to see what I can do with the Iron Staff, since I know that the first attack counts as a parry like you just saw me doing there. But the main problem with this is that the critical hit window is just way too short. So the only weapon that I would say is somewhat comparable to the Iron Staff is the Flashing Fans. But the Flashing Fans I would say is actually better than this weapon, because the critical hit condition states that you can do a critical hit any single time after 6 seconds of deflecting a projectile. But with the Iron Staff, it's just that combo that you can inflict critical hits with if you manage to parry it the first time, which I just did. I'm not sure if you saw that, but what I did there is that I just parried the first 2 attacks and then used the Iron Staff to parry the last so I can deal critical damage. Again, I'm not sure if I'll even win this fight, but I was pretty nervous at this point. You'll see me do the combo with the Iron Staff again there. So I'm just trying to be patient, because I know with the Iron Staff, if you miss the timing, if you miss the parry window on the staff, then your character will just do the rest of the combo, and it no longer parries the enemy. So it's a very, very weird item, and I would say it's definitely not something that's beginner friendly. And sadly, I was not able to get the win on this run. So second time, this time around I'm just gonna be on 0 BC because I'm trying to get some blueprints. But I won't spend a very long time on this run since, you know, no one wants to see 0 BC gameplay, it's too basic. And here I'm just showing you that these axes can be parried, and so are the traps, it looks like. And here there is a curse chest on this level. From what I've seen, the curse chest is always here, so it looks like the Fractured Shrine has a guaranteed curse chest. And here I just decided to take it. I mean, why the hell not? I mean, what can possibly go wrong, right? We're at 0 BC, everything's easy, it shouldn't be a problem. But now the first obstacle comes and I see it's the Serpent Monster thing. And I'm just trying to get out of the way, I'm trying to get an easy kill. And with the shovel that I have, I just go up there, smack it 2 times, and it's dead. Just gonna fast forward this footage a bit because I don't think anything interesting is happening here. And once I do some sidetracking, the clear is cursed because that slasher just ran into the pit and killed itself. Very lucky for me. I'm not sure if that was supposed to happen, and there it goes again, which, you know, that's an easy way to cheat the slashers in this biome if you really wanted to, I guess. But I was laid up on the axe swing, so it does look like you have to parry that a bit later than what you expect. And with this little door here, you get 3 different legendary items, and if you pick one, the other 2 will disappear. And here I'm just getting another blueprint. I wasn't sure what I was gonna get, but it looks like I got the Snake Fang, which I will be using later, and from what I've seen, the Snake Fang is actually pretty good. So the Snake Fang, how it works is that it teleports you to a nearby enemy as long as you're within range, and it inflicts poison damage. And inflicts critical hits if the target has 5 instances of poison or above. So, you know, just right off the bat, I can think of some synergies that can work with this, such as the Alchemic Carbine. That's kind of the only thing that comes to mind, maybe with Corrosive Cloud. But this is a weapon that I would say is good. It's better against bosses than in biomes. But the main thing about the Snake Fangs is that it can target flying enemies pretty well. Like, you don't have to worry about flying enemies, because if you do the attack and a flying enemy is like right above you, then your character will just teleport and instantly kill the flying enemy, which is fantastic. So far, I definitely like the Snake Fangs better than the Iron Staff so far. But we'll see how it goes from here. This is just my first couple of runs with the new update, so I'm not sure if my ratings are final. So here I'm actually going to parry the javelin that the serpent throws. It apparently that you are able to parry it, but you cannot see the trajectory of where it's coming from, so that might be a problem. Maybe I would have appreciated it if the devs added like the trajectory line in which the serpent will throw the javelin, kind of like how the yeeters throw the jerk shrooms. And back there, I just unlocked a new power called the Cocoon, which parries all nearby things when it's activated, and it has a cooldown of about like 15 seconds, but if you're able to land a parry, then the cooldown is instantaneous. So you're immediately able to parry something again with it. I don't have any footage in this video, but I did try it out off camera, and from what I've seen, it's actually pretty decent. So again, with the Scarecrow, I'm starting to see the patterns in its melee attacks, but mainly it's still the size that worries me, because I still don't see how you can parry those. And for what I've seen, the Scarecrow's attacks become faster the lower the health it's on, so that's also something you gotta watch out for. And since this is 0 BC, the boss really isn't anything special. So let's just move on to the next run. So here we are. This time around we're going to be playing on 3 BC. Because I'm really good at the game, this Titan is just did you forget how to parry? Okay, so that didn't work out too well. So let's try this again. So this time around, we're playing at 3 BC, and right off the bat, we can notice that bombers start to appear in the Fractured Shrine, which, you know, bombers generally is pretty rare in this game, since I'm pretty sure the only places where they appear are the Ossuary when you're at 3 BC and the 5 BC only biome. You're just getting another blueprint. This time around, it's going to be an outfit, and again, I decided to take the Curse Chest because, I mean, what can possibly go wrong, right? This time around, I'm also going to be using the Iron Staff once again because, I mean, it's a new item, and I wanted to see how it functions. So once I'm cursed, I'm just trying to, like, use the freeze and try to get as many monsters as possible, trying to pick off the easy ones specifically. And I don't have a shield in this build, but I do have the ice shards, which provides some breathing room for me so I can land my attacks in without fear of getting hit, which is exactly what happens here. And here you'll see me not approach this Titan thing because I wanted to wait till I got better items. You'll see me using the Iron Staff as parry for the axe swing, and it actually works out pretty well. So again, with the snake people, you see how I'm able to use the Iron Staff to parry its attack and land in critical hits. So the Iron Staff is kind of weird how it works. Basically, as soon as you press the attack button, the parry aura comes out, so that's when the parry will happen. I thought the parry was delayed at first. I thought it was like where your character does the first strike is where he actually parries the enemy, but no, it's as soon as you press the attack button, the parry comes out. But again, like I said before, one of the reasons why I don't think this is very good is that it doesn't do enough damage, I think. Because with the flashing fans, you are allowed 6 seconds of just straight up, you know, critical hit damage, but with the Iron Staff, it's just with the one combo, which is like 3 hits. So I think the Iron Staff needs a serious buff sometime in the future, and you'll see that it's not even doing most of the work. Basically, it's my skills, like especially the Crusher, that's doing a lot of the damage, because like if you're struggling to kill enemies in like 2 or 3 hits with this weapon, that I just don't think it's very good. But again, this is my first impressions, so it may change in the future. Now, I may be mistaken, but on 4 to 5 BC difficulty in the Undying Shores, failed experiments will also appear in this biome. So that can be really annoying, especially when they're resurrected. From what I've seen, the little the lantern holding ghouls, they can actually resurrect any single monster in the area. Like, it doesn't matter how big they are. I've seen them resurrect one of the Serpent Monsters. So you definitely want to prioritize killing them over others. And here I unlocked one of the new items called the Lightning Rod, where if you place 2 down apart from each other, then thunder will strike between the 2 rods that you put down. So again, with the Scarecrow fight, I'm still not sure how to deal with the sickles. I tried parrying them, but it just doesn't work, so I still need to look into how that can be done. But luckily with these attacks, the parries are very doable. And again, with the watering can attack, I'm really not sure what you're supposed to do there yet. So as you can see, I tried jumping on the mushroom, but I still got hit. So this really is a boss that needs some more testing for myself. The boss's attacks become slightly faster as soon as it gets weared down. And I'm just trying to heal, but the mushroom boys are kind of in my way. And from what I've seen, you definitely don't want to come here if you have like a melee build without a shield, because I think this fight is considerably easier if you come here with a ranged build or if you have a shield. As the fast melee attacks, I just don't see how you can handle this without a shield or running away with a ranged setup. And there I was able to dodge all of the mushrooms exploding, so that was really good. And there is the fight. So really rough fight. I did have to spend 2 entire health flasks to kill it, but luckily I was able to get through in the end. So now I'm just gonna skip forward to the Hand of the King fight and kind of prove to you how the Iron Staff is just not good at all. So you see how the Iron Staff does like no damage to Hand of the King. And here I did manage to parry it, but as you can see, because the combo is so slow and the time frame that you can do a critical hit is just so short that it just still does no damage. Like from what I've seen, if this fight lasts more than 2 minutes, then you are doing something wrong, or there's something really wrong with your build, which I think is the case over here. So you'll see me try to do the combo with the Iron Staff again. So here I'm going to use the staff to parry the last attack and then land the combos. But as you can see, it just does no damage. And at this point in time, if I were to put the Iron Staff on the tier list, I probably would give it like a C tier. And I'm maybe even considering put it in the D tier because it just does no damage. And I don't see how you can combo this with anything. If you want to combo this with a shield, then why not just use the shield entirely? Like there's no benefits because the opportunities of how you can parry with the Iron Staff is just so limited. So like I said before, you cannot parry ranged projectiles as well as bombs. So the only attacks that you can actually parry with the staff are melee attacks. Just gonna kill the remaining enemies and get back to the fight. Again with the shield. And you'll see me being really careful because I want to use the staff to parry the attack so I can land in critical hits, but the thing is, if I attack the Hand of the King too early, then I'll be performing in the middle of my combo and the parry effect will not come in. So not only are you restricted by the timing of your attacks with the Iron Staff, it just does no damage. And I think if they increase the range on the first strike a little, it might make it somewhat viable. But at this point, like you'll see how much I'm struggling to kill Hand of the King because it's just a really bad item, at least in my first impression. It does like no damage, so you might as well just be hitting Hand of the King with the War Spear, which, you know, it's a really terrible item. But in this case, you know, I was able to get the kill and I didn't have to expend a health flask, and there is the run. So overall, the Iron Staff from this video, from my first impressions, is just not good at all. So if anyone else have a different experience, please let me know because I want to make this work. It does have one of the most unique interactions I've seen in the game so far, so if they could just increase the damage or increase the time frame in which you can do critical hits, then I think it can actually be pretty decent. So that's gonna be it for this first impressions video on the new Fatal Falls DLC for Dead Cells. Like I said before, I will be doing other 5 boss cell runs content later this week. However, because midterms are coming up, I am going to have to slow down with my uploads. So later this week, I'm going to upload one video featuring a weapon, and it'll be a full 5 boss cell run with post-game commentary, so stay tuned for that. The biome guide will probably come out sometime next week or next week because a video like that takes a lot of planning and I still haven't seen what there is to see with this DLC, so that's gonna have to wait. But again, I appreciate everyone here if you're watching, and have fun with the game. Thanks for watching.